Alrighty, so I'm following up the videos about painting twice a day. It's about midnight, a little after midnight. I got home from work about 9:30 tonight. I had to answer, that's my cat. I had to answer, kitty. I had to answer a couple of emails, some messages I got, walk my dog, take him for an hour-long walk every night, feed Bugsy and Kitty, and tried to figure out what I would eat for dinner and didn't even get there. I decided instead to come out and continue the painting, the process of, or the goal of painting twice a day, the decided goal of dedicating time to myself and my art twice a day. I started about half hour ago, about 11:30, and mind you, I have to be up at like 6. We have an early morning meeting at my 9 to 5 job, or whatever time job, because the store is open from 9 to 9, so my schedule fluctuates, has no bearing on anything other than I have to be up in a little while. But this is the most important thing to me. My job is important to me because it keeps a roof over my head at this point, but whatever. Anyway, the point is that we dedicate our time to ourselves. We make sure to dedicate time to ourselves and propelling ourselves forward instead of stagnating or waiting till a day that we feel rested, a day that we feel the muse, which, as I've said before, I really don't believe in at all. You have to show up and just do the work. You are the muse, and your desire is the muse, not some exterior energy that flows into your body and says, oh, I'm going to give you a brilliant idea. You have to just show up and do the work. And in that is my belief anyway, and in that, just showing up and doing the work, the intent comes to you. The idea, or, whatever, just kind of comes to you. I have things planned out, as I've discussed. I have things planned out sometimes months and months, or canvases and canvases ahead of time, because I just want to paint. I just want to paint. I am a painter. I am a painter. And I take it very seriously. This is not a hobby. This is who I am. This is who I believe I was meant to be in life and why I am here. Otherwise, I am just another body walking the earth and consuming Cheez-Its and other things. And I can't be just another body. It's that thing inside of me that says, you are an artist. That pushes me out to this very warm garage twice a day to do the work. So tonight about 11:30, this is what I started doing, was finishing up my canvases for the 3 abstract paintings I've decided I am doing, and the 2 figure paintings of little boys riding hobby horses because I'm obsessed with the clothing and the imagery of these young men dressed as dandies and sometimes in what we consider girls' clothing, who will at some point in time be told by their parents, their community, and their society that they now have to be these strong men. I'm just kind of obsessed with the whole dichotomy, the whole idea of it. And just what a confusing message that must have been, that these children who rode hobby horses in a nursery would someday, most likely, be expected to pick up a gun or be a leader of industry. It's just wild to me how they are dressed. I am a little obsessed with our obsession of how we look and how we present ourselves. And I think that can be seen in my paintings of gender fluid people, of drag queens, of transgender people. But actually anyone I try and depict, how we present ourselves, how we want to be seen, is something I find deeply fascinating. And then finding the images of how people are presenting themselves and trying to find something deeper. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, 11:30 at night, did these two, which I'm going to set to the side to dry. These will be, I can't figure out if these are going to be hobby horse paintings or part of the 3 Durga driven abstracts that I'll be doing. Durga being the Hindi goddess of war and of all things righteous or something or other. Again, I only have a surface level understanding of Durga. There are a few things I know. Wait a minute, let me put these down. Durga was given the task, was birthed by other Hindi gods with the task of taking on this terrible god who had been punished for something that I can't remember and sent to meditate for 10,000 years. That was his timeout corner. He was sent somewhere mystical on earth or in the heavens to meditate for 10,000 years and think about what he'd done. And instead, like any being that is imprisoned and sent to think about how horrible they are, or most figures who are imprisoned, I believe he thought about the injustices, and the bitterness ate away at him. And he devised a plan that when he was released from his 10,000 years of yoga and meditating, he devised a plan to be freed. He was asked if he wanted to live forever, what would be his one wish? And no, what was it? Oh, something or other. It's after midnight at this point. You got me. But anyway, his big wish was that he live forever. I'm sorry, that's the way it goes. He wished that he would live forever. And the garage door just blew a little bit. That was weird. We have no wind. So anyway, he wished to live forever. Well, Durga was birthed because there was a loophole in his wish. Durga, okay, I may be getting it all wrong. Anyway, Durga was birthed by the gods to destroy this god. And in many images of Durga, she has 8 arms. In some stories, she has 1,000 arms. It just depends on where you're coming from. But in each of her 8 hands, in the predominant figure that we see, she is holding something. One is a trident, which she used not only against this evil being that had meditated for 10,000 years and ruminated on how horrible things were for him, but she also used it against Shiva. Shiva, who cut off the head of Ganesh when Ganesh was making sure that nobody came into the bathroom while Durga was taking a bath. While his mother was bathing, she just wanted quiet time, and Shiva said, "You're going to let me in," blah, blah, blah. Shiva threw a temper tantrum, cut off Ganesh's boy head, and she got out of the bathtub and said, "You've now chopped off the head of my son. I'm very angry. Fix this, or I'm going to kill you." And with her trident, she went after him. And sorry if this isn't coming out right at all, but we know how I am. And so Shiva cut off the head of the first animal he saw, Pachum, stuck it on the boy's body, Pachum, and birthed Ganesh. Well, anyway, Shiva's got this trident, as well as a knife, as well as incense and some other stuff in her 8 hands. And in a battle that lasted something like a week, finally got him with his big trident. So I've been thinking about that trident. I've been thinking about a couple of things. Her primary weapon for destroying him, the evil in the world, a demon in the world, and the color yellow, which her skin is fabled to have been or to be. It is the color of turmeric. Turmeric is a healing herb, as we all know. It is an antiseptic, but it is used for pain. It's used for many things. And Shiva dusted her skin with turmeric to have a gold. So I haven't quite figured out the trident yet, but I've been thinking about the energies in this goddess of war, in her righteous power. Her righteous power. To defend the underdog, defeat evil, and blah-de-de-blah. So I have figured out the turmeric. I have not figured out the trident. I am hoping in just coming out and doing the work, as we talk about, that I will find the trident. Now, yellow is not my favorite color. Where are my little doodads there? Yellow is not my favorite color to paint with. It's also not one that's very popular with buyers. Ugh. With less enlightened buyers, because it doesn't really match many couches or window treatments. It's a little bit of a joke in there. The joke being, Basquiat, when he had his first studio in New York, was in a basement. He had I did that a little backwards. Anyway, he had a buyer, yeah, I did that backwards, totally. He had a buyer come to visit him, or buyers. It was a husband and wife team. We've all seen the movie. And this character was played by, I believe, Tatum O'Neal. Anyway, the wife didn't want to buy the painting because there was too much green in it and it wouldn't match their couch. So the painting they didn't want is probably now sold for millions of dollars, and they're morons. So yellow is not a favorite in the collecting world, necessarily. Forget this piece of paper, that was stupid. But I want to honor Durga. Yellow represents so many things in different cultures. However, here it represents Durga's skin color and her beauty. Yeah, well, that went sour. When I was applying, I gotta change this, it's the wrong nib. When I was applying the gesso, I was thinking about energy and how I was going to connect. I think I have the wrong nib again. How I was going to get the energies, ooh, that's interesting, to connect. And to flow. So this pattern is not planned out. Neither was that big swipe. But I think we're there. I think we're there with the, with a fighting energy and this righteous energy. And an excitement. Oops. One of the things, there we go. wanted to give this a dusting, but this little nib is not doing it. Anyway, and I'm going over only the white with yellow. If I go over the black, I'm just not going to have that glowy effect that I go for in my paintings. If I use the yellow on the black. Oranges work really well on black, so doesn't teal. But yellow, not so much. That is interesting though. That is really interesting. Yeah, it's just coming out too strong. Let's try this one, see what happens. I think it's just this can. I'm using plutonium aerosol. There we go, that's what I wanted. I'm using plutonium aerosol spray, and sometimes it comes out a little strong. Montana's, I have a little bit more control over. But I like the colors of plutonium better. Anywho, I think I'm gonna shut the camera off in a sec and go ahead and do this on 3 of the canvases, or at least 2 tonight, and then I gotta go to bed. And no, I'm not wearing a mask, and I should. And no, I don't have a fan going, and I should. I love living dangerously. So actually, I don't think about it very much. So you don't have to write me and tell me I'm a terrible representation of aerosol artists. I'm okay, I got it. Now I'm going to make sure in these places where I've placed a lot of aerosol, which is here, 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 and here, I've got to make sure that if I go over it with oil, I go over it with a thin layer. Because this with oil over it might crack. Might crack in probably 20 years. Not that my paintings are going to live forever. Or us, as we're learning. Oh, shit. Okay, and there, I have to be very careful there. Not that the painting or I or us are going to live forever, or that I'm going to be Van Gogh and people will be buying and selling my work 100 years from now. But I need to be mindful of the person, the collector that buys this. And I don't want to create issues that they'll be dealing with, necessarily. So one more thing about the yellow, and about representing her skin color. Although I'm deeply tired of our obsession with how people look, it is historical. It is our obsession with how people look, that they're pretty, One of the things that is that makes Durga or attracts people to Durga is that she is beautiful. She is beautifully made up. She is beautifully dressed. She is powerful. but she is pretty. And what I need to find out if the worship of Durga is not just with how she looks. Because I think as Americans, we are so completely blindsided or just enamored with how pretty people are that we place too much importance on it. And in my reading, in my research, I need to find out, is it more? How is the Durga side of Ganesh's mother so highly prized, this pretty side over the angry, vengeful, but very effective side, her other character, her other personality? I've got to look into it a little bit more, but I just need to explore the idea. And that's why I'm putting in the yellow. We have a deeper obsession with prettiness. If we didn't, the Kardashians wouldn't be a thought in our heads at any point on any day. I'm totally convinced that these people who have pretty much nothing of value to contribute to the world are somehow at the center of our culture. So I want to find out a little bit more about Durga. And I have faith that maybe there's another group of people in the world who don't obsess over the Kardashians just because they're pretty, or a mythical goddess because she knows how to put on eye makeup. But we will see. Sorry if that's rude and condescending. It's very late at night, and sometimes stuff just comes out of my mouth. Sometimes stuff that should stay in my head just comes out. I was going to stay within the lines, but I guess that's not happening. So we've gotten this canvas ready with the black gesso and the yellow. I'm going to go into the next canvas and do the same, the one right over here, and do the same with the yellows. Tomorrow I'm probably going to be adding blues and teals, but again, I have to look at the subject, read a little bit more, find out which colors are meaningful to this venture. I do want to put in blues and teals and of course reds for blood, but blues and teals to express water, and to express water for birth and the birthing of Ganesh. Anyway, gotta go to bed. Got a meeting at 7:30 tomorrow morning, so I'm gonna be up early and out the door, and we did it. Twice a day, dedicated to ourselves. Anyway, good night, ciao.